Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope all of you are doing good. In today's session, we are going to talk about SAS again because we are in middle of this particular course which is about the SAS course. Okay, so today we are going to talk about data processing and logic in SAS. In the previous session we spoke about what is SAS, why we use it, and we spoke about PDB, which is the heart or the core engine of SAS. Okay, so today we are going to start with data processing and logic. So we'll cover everything in detail, whatever comes under this. Now, if you are very first time on the channel, make sure you visit the first video before this one. Okay, that's very important. So let's talk about from the perspective of a person who have not seen SAS, right? Because in the last video, I have seen a complete SAS experience to you. I have given that experience to you using the SAS Free University Edition. So today, let's talk from the basics. So first of all, when you talk about SAS application interface, okay, three basic things. What are those three things? Number one is your program editor. Program editor is basically used, or basically it helps to compose the program and execute it. Then you have the log window. Basically, log window displays the log, that what is the program which you have executed, what is the number of rows in each data set. Data set is nothing, it's a table. How many columns are there, variables in terms of variable, right? So all of that. Then you have an output window that basically prints the output of your program, and we have seen it earlier. So this is kind of a thing you should know that in back of your mind that there are three windows in SAS. Let's move forward. So in a program editor, this is how it looks like, a real program editor. Okay. And this is a SAS enterprise guide, very old version. Now the SAS is much more fascinating and it's very good in terms of graphics. Then you have the log window, which looks like this, where you have number of observation, all those things are there. Okay. Then you have the output. So output window, something looks like this. You have the output. So here you can see observation date and the rank and everything. And this is how a SAS application interface actually looks like. These are the data sets which are there on the left side. You can see all these are the data sets. So you click on the data set and then data set is open. Basically, data set is nothing, it's the table. Okay, that is getting open. Then first step with SAS. So what is SAS data set? A table created in or for SAS that SAS can recognize and how this is processed basically. Okay, it's usually created from a data line in one code. Data line is basically a kind of a SAS functionality which help you to put the data when you have small data within the code. Okay, then as the result of the data manipulation from either a database, you can extract data from database. All of you know that SAS has that functionality, and then a SAS dataset can be created using an internal file. So these are the way that SAS dataset can be created. So you can answer it. It can be an interview question also. What are the ways to create a SAS dataset? Number one, using data lines or cards, also one of the option. Number two, using the RDBMS as a source. Number three, using an external file. I hope this is clear. Now, new SAS dataset, something like this. So there are two parts of that SAS dataset. It's broken into two pieces. One is your descriptive portion, which talks about the metadata. What are the columns, what that column means, all those things. And then you have the data portion. So this is the two level breakdown of a SAS table or SAS dataset. Then what is SAS dataset in simple language? A programming step used in SAS to perform data manipulation, and as a result, it creates a SAS dataset. So SAS dataset will be created. Anyway, you can choose. Then what are the ways to take inputs? Okay. How many ways to create SAS dataset, which I told you three. Now we bifurcate that. Okay. So reading input from multiple sources. It can be Excel, text, Oracle database, Access dataset, Teradata, Hadoop. SAS has the power to read the data from Hadoop also. Then using a dataset using SAS. Within SAS. So these are the external parts, right? We have spoken about the flat file. We have spoken about the relational database, warehouse management systems. And then you have cards, data line, or infile. Infile is basically used to give a path where you have the file, physical location. On the physical location, you have the file. Okay. Then you can use column input and delimiters, format and informat. So these are the basically ways to create SAS dataset. So I hope this is clear because this is a basic building block. Okay. Now let's move forward. So inside SAS dataset, variables and observation, these are the breakups. So you have SAS where you have variables. So variables or column, same thing. Then you have row or observation. But in SAS, we always use functionality, variable and observation. How many variables are there? How many observations are there? Okay. So don't use row and columns because that is not the functionality or terminology used by the SAS world. Okay. Then ID, HT and WT are numeric variable. You can see all that. And the name is a character variable. You can see that. Then character variable, if blank is represented as a space. So if there is a blank in character, it's a blank space. But if there is a missing value in the numeric variable, then you can see a dot. That is again a functionality of SAS. You should remember it. I think some of you cannot see that dot, but that dot is just below 95. Okay. So that's the difference. Now let's talk about the basic building block of SAS program. One is your data set. You already know that. Okay. So now let's talk about the second one. So let's brief. So SAS program is consisting two building block. Number one is data step. Okay. Data step and data set both are different things. Okay. SAS statement that read, create new data set or variable, modify, perform calculation. Everything is done inside that. So just creating a data set does not mean that data set is the data step. Data step means inside the data set, you would be doing so many manipulations, so many juggling, so many transformation, anything you can do. Then you have a proc step. Procedure is the full form of proc. So SAS statement that can perform statistical analysis like regression and all that, then create, print reports and graph. So this is the wider area. Okay. There are so many things we can do in the procedures. SAS give you so many by default procedures and they have their own syntaxes which you need to memorize. Okay. Hopefully in future when the AI will be integrated, then you don't need to memorize that. But currently you need to memorize those syntaxes to write those procedures. Okay. A SAS program starts with data step to create SAS data set and then passes on to proc step to do the analysis. Okay. Every SAS program is constructed using these two. So you can see the example. Data step starts with data and this particular variable, this particular data set name, and then you have variables and then run. Every line is ending with semicolon. It's very important to put semicolon, otherwise your program will hit an error. Then you have a procedure step, that is proc print data and the name of the data set, semicolon, run, semicolon. This basically does nothing. It basically prints. This is a command to print your data set which you are building. Okay. Any combination of data set or procedure can be used. Run statement is recommended to use through the program and semicolon is mandatory. Okay. So this is the SAS free edition. Let me increase the size of this. I hope this is much better for all of you. Okay. So today, as I rightly mentioned, we spoke about those concepts. Okay. That is data processing and logic. So when you talk about data inputs, so let me go there. So we are talking about data lines. So now you see the structure: data, then the name of the data set, and then input. Input means these are the variables. I'm telling my program that these are the variable I'm going to use. This is a numeric, this is numeric, this is numeric. And then you can see this is numeric, but after default, there is a dollar symbol. What does dollar means? Dollar means it's a character variable. You can see yes, no, it's a character variable. Then city again is dollar. So you will put dollar after every variable. Okay. Every variable where you have characters. Okay. Simple. Now, if I run this piece of code, this data set will be created. Okay. This will not be printed. Why? Because I have not given a print command. So let me select this. When you click on this run symbol, it runs your code. So why it's printing? Because there are so many things down there. Okay. This whole code is running. But if I go and see only this customer raw, so you can see these libraries option. Okay. You can see the library option. Inside the library, my library, I click on this. Then you can see this work library. This is a temporary SAS library. If you are not giving a permanent library, everything will be stored within this work library. So when I click on this work library, you can see the customer raw. Okay. Let me double click this customer raw. So this is how it shows. It shows that how many columns you have and what are the value you have in each column. You remember this missing value in income? Okay. I hope you remember. Let's go to the code. This. So you can see the complete data set has been incorporated in SAS and you can see the data set also here. Now, this is taking the input using data lines. You can use cards also. Both are same thing. No difference. It's an alternate. Okay. So you can try that at your own and you can tell me if there is any difference coming, but there will not be. Okay. Let's move on to the next part, that is data cleaning, missing value and invalid value handling. So now after this data, customer raw, now I set this data into another data that is customer clean, because what I'm trying to do, there were some missing value. You remember, right? In income, right? That's something I'm trying to remove using the if condition. Now this set will set the same data in the direct, just like this. Okay, there is this table, it came down this, and now this is the data set. Okay, then handle missing value. So if then condition, simple logic of if condition. If then condition equal to income dot, jahan pe income is blank, then make income 0. Don't print a dot there because data doesn't seems clean. Okay, and if age is less than 0, then delete. So do you think there was age less than 0? -2. There was an age which is -2. I intentionally put it there. Now we have 7 observations here. Now after running this piece of code, how many observations should be there? How many of you will guess? Meanwhile, I will run this. 6. Okay. Can you see the missing value? No, it's 0 now. And instead of 7, you have 6 observations. So this is the example of conditional formatting as well when you talk about if statement. See, this is a very basic example I'm giving you. In real life, you will see so many if else. Okay, so you need to understand that also. But this is for the basics understanding. Okay, because this is something everybody should know who want to get into the field of SAS. And then you build on top of this. Okay. Then let's talk about derived variables. So what are the derived variable? We call it feature engineering also in programming and in modeling also. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a new variable using the income variable. And again, I'm calculating income to loan ratio using the formula. This 2 new variables I'm introducing here. Now, when I will run this, you will see 2 new variables that is being calculated, and when I go to the extreme end of the observation, you can see those calculation has been done. So you can see how it is easy, right? You can say it's easy, right? So you can calculate or you can do the feature engineering for multiple of the columns. That's what your choice. Okay, depending on the need of the data, how many variables you have. Now let's talk about if then else. If then else is risk logic. Somewhere we call it like conditional formatting, risk logic, risk segmentation. We call that. Now I'm setting customer derived, which we created up there. Okay. Customer derived. Now in the customer derived, I'm putting one condition. Pay your attention. If income is greater than 70,000, then risk category low risk. It's a low risk customer. If the income is greater than 40,000, then risk category medium risk category customer. And else it's a high category risk customer. Now let's execute this. Select this normally. Click run. Now let's see the bifurcation in the end. High risk, medium risk, you can see it's cut. It's the risk word is not fully coming, right? What is the reason of that? Because I have not defined the length. Okay. So let me do this way. Or the second way would be you can define the length for each variable. High, medium, low, high. Okay. So you can see that only the by default length it's taking because low is setting 3. So high is not coming fully. It's coming HIG. Okay. Now if I put high up there and make it low. Let's execute this piece of code again. So you will get to know about the functionality which SAS has. Can you see? Okay. Now high is also coming. So whatever the first value I will give for a particular column, the length of that value becomes the by default length for that particular variable. Okay. It's a very important interview question again. Let's move forward. Conditional logic. We'll use in here. So here again, customer risk, the new one which I created, that data set I'm setting into customer logic. Then I'm just checking the eligibility. If age is greater than equal to 25 and income is greater than equal to 30,000, then eligible, yes. Else eligible, no. And metro city flag again, it's a conditional thing. Now I want to give only single city. Okay. So I will mention if city double takes inside Bangalore, but now I want to give 2 conditions, like two situations where the condition should be checked. So I'm giving BLR and MUM, like Bangalore and Mumbai, then metro flag 1, otherwise 0. When I run this piece of code, let's run this. you will see Rajat is keep on adding the columns. You can see that eligibility is coming, metro flag is also coming. So we are good till here. So now you have learned a lot. Okay. Now let's move on to flags. If you want to give some flag, now we are going bit more complex. Okay. So I set the customer logic, which we just created inside a new data set that is customer flag. Then default flag is I am something creating. If default is yes, then default flag 1. So it's a real-time example of a credit life cycle. Okay. Else default flag 0. High risk flag, if income ratio is less than 2, then high risk flag yes, else no. Review flag, if risk category high or medium, then review flag, we should review those customer. That's what it means. Then 1, otherwise review flag 0. Let's run this piece of code. So in the end, just go in the end, you can see all the flags are created. So that's how you do a complete exploratory data analysis also in credit risk. Okay. I hope you are getting the sense of it and you are now getting more mature in terms of using SAS as well. I hope I am able to help you in that. Now the last part, the final data set. We have created so many things. We have taken the data input, then we have done the cleaning, then we have done feature engineering using if else, then risk logic, we have done business rules, how we put that. So you have seen that, and then flagging also I have shown you. Now last thing is I'll just print. As of now I have not printed, so you could see in the output, but now you see the difference. This time your output is properly coming as a result. You can see the difference in coloring. This is a proper print output. This is not a data set. This is something which I have print. Now you can see this kind of data set is fully good for your reviews. Okay. So I hope you love this session and I hope I was able to contribute to your journey in SAS in credit risk. Okay. If you like my effort, please make sure you do share this video with your friends, your family, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, everybody, and ask them to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video, guys.